This has to be the worst idea I have yet. I have created a challenge run that I will dub a no hat or low hat percent run. And its main premise is that you have to beat the game using no hats or the least amount of hats required. I'll get into that later. But first, let me lay some ground rules about what the fuck this challenge is. Number one and most obvious rule is no hats allowed of any kind. No matter where you need it, you can't use a hat unless absolutely required to progress. Thus the name low hat percent implies. Number two, if you do use a hat, you are to add that number to the tally of total hats used, and when you end your run, the amount of hats that you used will be your highest score. Number three, badges of any kind are allowed, as they aren't a specific power required to use any of the specific places you need hats for, and I don't consider them hats, so any badges that allow you to progress further are fine. And that's just about all the rules, really. Just try to beat the game quickly with the least amount of hats possible, or no hats would be preferred, but I'll get into that later. And now, I'm just gonna bring you through a whole low hat run. Let's get right into it. So you see in the bottom right hand corner, I'll have a little counter to count how many hats we use during the run, so keep that in mind. Oh, and just remember, the counter will go up for each use of a hat. If you use a hat multiple times, it'll make the counter go up multiple times. Alright, now let's go. Now for our first destination, we got Mafia Town. It's pretty simple. It's the beginner area, not many places where you can fuck up. And also not many places where hats are required, considering this is the beginner area, so I'm gonna gloss over a lot of the shit. So the first and second mission are basically the same. You go to the end, kill a guy, and leave. Third mission's mostly just platforming, and again, go to the end and leave. And here our fourth mission is a boss, our first boss level. Again, nothing special, just go to the end, kill the boss, and exit. After we kill the boss, we just unlock the next level. Basically a fetch quest, get all the tickets. No hats required still. And already like that, we're on to the next chapter, Battle of the Birds. First part of the chapter, nothing special, just a sneak mission. Go through the whole thing, don't get caught. No hat checkpoints or anything required, just a normal mission. All of the ends kind of cooled up. Third mission just requires us to go around and collect shit and do some tasks until we win. Now we're on to the fourth level. This shit has some trickery in it. Once we go to the front of the train and activate the mission, then it's a new story from there, another sneak mission. Luckily it doesn't matter that much because we can basically skip the entire mission if we just do a little precise wall movement and hit the button, and that's half the level done already. And in this little room there's a precise little jump we can do to skip a nice portion of it. And I fucked up a couple of times, but that's no worry, and we just grab the key and die and reset. But still, no major checkpoints, no major anything halting our progress from completing the game with no hats. And on to mission 5, the parade. Again, nothing special, you just run around, don't get hit. Absolutely no hat checkpoints, and we're already on to the next level. Although there is some precise little jumps that a sprint hat would help with. And we're leaving Battle of the Birds for now for the next chapter, but don't worry, we're coming back to it. I'll get back to that later. We're already in the next chapter, the Subcon Forest. There's some little checkpoints that we need, but we need to come here for mostly one thing, and that's a badge, which comes back to our first rule that all badges are allowed, and there's one required one here, which is why we're here. Manager gives us a choice between a couple of different contracts. One of them is the manor, which I'm choosing, and the other one is the mail mission. That one gives you a badge that requires you to use the sprint hat to complete it, so that's an immediate no. We're choosing the other one. Now it's the Subcon Well that really has what we need, as it contains the hook badge. The one badge we'll be using the most in this run, mostly because it's mandatory. Well, pretty much only because it's mandatory for a lot of things. So for Vanessa Manor, we just completely glossed it over because the mission itself takes away all your hats, so no reason to talk about it. This is our last mission we'll be doing in Subcon Forest, never coming back to it. It's the Toilet of Doom. Yeah, it's a big toilet, and our first mission that requires us to have the hook shot. And yeah, besides that, it's a pretty easy fight. And after we kill him, we're back to battle the birds. And we're on a train rush. Not a special level, just run to the end of the train with a time limit. Although the sprint hat would be very useful here, but not mandatory. And we're off to our last mission of Battle the Birds for now. We'll get back to that. It's part 2 of the first mission, so it's just more platforming, more sneaking. Still no hat checkpoints, because we're still pretty early into the game, but you'll see more later. You'll see. After we get through the level, we defeat our third boss, and continue on to the next chapter. Now we're over halfway through the game, and here's where we're going to start seeing some issues with the no hat run. But also some good things, because this is a free roam level, meaning we can go to any mission in any order that we want. And it's in this chapter that we use the hook shot the most out of any other, as it is mandatory to go between levels. First off is the lava cake. Getting up the stairs in most of the parkour platforms is pretty standard and easy. Not any hat checks at all, still not mandatory, still at 0 hats. And we get to the lava cake, and there's some tricky platforming. But again, a lot of the things can just be avoided with good platforming and, of course, the hook shot. There are some special platforms that require a hat, but we can just avoid them with good platforming. But we managed to get to the top of the lava cake, and another easy W. Next level, the windmill. Just another standard platforming section. Still no hat requirements, just another easy platforming section that we easily dispatch of. And for the third level of our free roam adventure, we have the bird cage. Haven't been any hat checks up till now. Let's see if there are any. Now that box is a hat check, luckily. Just some easy platforming around it, and we're already past. Some more easy jumps, and we're already on to the next.
Wow!
And there it is, our first major hat check. Multiple platforms held up by boxes we have to destroy to progress. And this is the end of the run. Just kidding, because I'm a platforming genius, all I have to do is some easy jumps, and we're already past. And luckily, when we're inside the bird cage, it's just another easy section just requiring some hook shots and regular platforming to end. And now for our final mission of this chapter, Twilight Bell. Once we head to it, we can just do some easy Yeah, so that's going to require another hat, so we're just going to hold that one off and complete some other missions in the meantime. And now's the part of the video where we go back to every single level and complete the shit that we haven't before, as we just need 6 more timepieces to progress to the final mission and beat the game. And our first destination back is Mafia Town. Everything's heated up, again, like literally no hat checks, because it is an earlier mission. We're just coming back to it to finish it up, and pretty easy. And now it's time to do those time riffs I've been holding off. You may have noticed in the footage that I've been holding off on these time riffs. I've been holding them off as my ace, my saving grace to help continue the run with no hats. The first and second one are located in Mafia Town, and they just require some easy, precise platforming. But even so, I'm going to show you a little montage of me doing them. Let's get it. So, but once we collect our 25th timepiece, we can finally begin our venture to ending this fucking suffering. As the end game unlocks, and we can go to the end of the game. And there it was, staring me in the face. 3 separate hat checks. This would kill our fucking run. But luckily with some precise platforming, we can jump up and get the ice one, but yeah, no. The no hat percent run is killed off here. We're gonna have to stick with a low hat percent run. First, requiring a brewing hat to blow up the box and the Dweller's Mask to get through that wacky barricade. And then the endgame unlocks, so that's gonna be another 2 to the counter. And then we start the final level, the final mission. Already needing another hat check, we just quickly skip the ice hat check with a little damage boost after a couple of jumps, making quick work of the mission with just some easy platforming sections. A green floor requiring the Dweller's Mask can easily be jumped over, and green pillars in the distance also requiring the mask, but some easy egg jumps and we're already through it. But another Dweller ramp requiring another damage boost to get through. But it was for naught, as there was another Dweller gate, mandatory to pass, adding another hat to the counter.
Wow!
But with the hook shot carrying us through the level and some more complex presses of the jump button, already at the final boss. But with no hats to help us, the fight might be a little bit different. Nah, just kidding, I steamrolled that bitch. And boom, the final timepiece collected, and with a time of 2 hours and 9 minutes, having up to 0 hats for the entire run until the last fucking mission. But with only 2 hats crafted and 3 uses total, I'd say we came out pretty well. But if you know any way to clip into the final level without using any hats, let me know. Or if you know any glitches that can help us, thank you. And if you want me to beat the DLC with a minimal amount of hats, comment down below.